Get started with the score slides. Again, welcome everybody. We're delighted to have you join us this evening for another webinar presented by Lindsay Sims McKee, one of our favorite presenters. We're happy that she's here. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about SCORE. SCORE is the largest network of free volunteer small business mentors in the nation. There are over 10,000 of us across the country, located in almost every major city. So if you have an unusual business that someone in our local chapter can't help you, we have access to that other 10,000 people. So we're likely to find somebody who has the industry background who can help you. Our mission is to foster vibrant small business communities, which we do primarily through mentoring and education. We hope that you as a small business owner have all the resources that you need to be a successful business. We know, particularly in Cleveland, that small businesses drive the economy. I just read an article about Cleveland being sort of a bellwether for the country, given the improvement in downtown, mostly due to small businesses. So we thank you for your willingness to step up and take on a tough job. Here are some statistics from our last year. We helped to start over 500 businesses and create jobs. Note that we are strung out along the lake as far east as Ashtabula and as far west as Huron and Erie counties. And I believe we've recently added Trumbull County. Because our work is supported by the SBA, they pay about 30% of our efforts. And so we don't charge for anything that we present. We also get a lot of support for the local businesses in our community who want to see you be successful as a small business owner. So here's a quick shot of our website. You can go here and locate a mentor. You can look at workshops, both local that are upcoming, as well as national. And also there are probably in the neighborhood of 100 recorded workshops where you can go and browse and find webinars on many different topics that can help you get your business started or grow your business. In addition to webinars, there are blogs, articles, templates for business plan, marketing plan, and so forth on the website, and certainly worth browsing to see if you can find the information that will help you with your business. So I am going to stop sharing and turn it over to Lindsay and let her get started.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much, Anita. I'm excited to chat with everyone tonight. So just to verify for everyone, yes, this is being recorded. It is in a workshop format, so you'll only be able to see Anita and I. You won't be able to see each other. But with that, anyone who's been in one of my workshops before knows that we use the chat around here like it is a one-to-one conversation or one-to-many. So if you guys can, in the chat, everyone who is wanting to get some really good one-on-one feedback, in the chat, I would love for you to tell me who you are, where you're from, and what your business is, because that is how I can get a handle on what your businesses are so that I can give you the best, the best version of this workshop possible, which is going to be most applicable to you. So if you can give me that information, then I will use it throughout the workshop to really get to know you and to understand what your businesses are and what you guys do. And don't be scared. I know that you might be able to see there's 70 people here. I can read the chat very fast. Don't worry about me. I got you. So put your information in the chat. I love to see that, who you are, where you're from. and I would love to get to know you a little bit better so that we can talk about you and what your business is doing and how it can actually get online using the tools that I'm going to talk about today. So that said, let me go ahead and share the screen and get us started. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Alicia. Like I said, go ahead, put that stuff in the chat. I got it up and I can see it and I can see you guys. Yeah, so just tell me about yourselves and I will help you by pulling that information into the chat as we're going along. So with that, let's talk about selling online with e-commerce tools, which is what this workshop is all about. So just in case you were wondering, this is not going to be a kind of a standard, just put your stuff in the internet and wish and hope that things go well. We're going to talk about all types of ways you can use your online business. So I know we got Juanita here. She does a CDL school, and she might be thinking, but Lindsay, I don't sell a product. So how do I get my business online? This is the reason why I want to know what your businesses are, because if you have a brick and mortar business, if you have a business where you have like a CDL school or something like that, that means you got to think about this stuff a little bit differently. And I can help you do that. And so just let me know, okay, we got an author, we got all sorts of stuff. There we go. So that's perfect. Thank you. Keep it coming in the chat so that I can help you very specifically with what we can do to help your businesses. Okay. So I'm Lindsay. Hey, nice to meet you. I am the Ohio Grow with Google Digital Coach. I know there's a whole lot of you from all over. I've been seeing places like Indiana and Chicago and all that. So go ahead, keep that information coming. And if you're from St. Louis, you had better tell us that you are here and from St. Louis, because I'm from St. Louis and that's like my hometown. I live here in Cleveland. I've been here for 16 years. And you would think that would make me feel like a Cleveland native, but I'm old enough to where 16 years don't feel like that much. Like, it's not even half my life. So I love Cleveland. I love Ohio. I don't have any designs of leaving whatsoever. And so you can call me your digital coach wherever you are right now. I am your personal Grow with Google digital coach, and I'm going to take you along on this journey with us. So we're going to talk a little bit about why to sell online, how to showcase your products using a variety of tools, including your Google business profile. We're going to talk about the Merchant Center. We're going to talk about selling using a variety of tools, and how you can actually leverage those tools regardless of what kind of business you're in. So I can see you guys saying right now, there's probably a 50-50 mix of the people who put their stuff in the chat that are doing consulting, B2B, that's business to business, or you have a business where you're not selling a product. And so there's a lot of people here like that. You have nonprofit organization, that sort of thing. Like, is it Cecilia or Silisa. Thank you, Silisa. All I had to do is read. So like Silisa, she told me, but I figured it out first. So like Silisa, if you have a business where you're not selling a product, we can really talk about how that works as well, okay? So why do you want to be online? The real answer is, y'all, that over 60% of shopping happens online first. That doesn't mean that it doesn't eventually end up at a store. It just means that the majority of people, when they're looking for something, they're looking for information, they're hitting the internet first. And so what we want to do is that we want to be where people are. And this data is actually from like 2018. It's 2024, y'all. I would say these numbers have probably increased, especially since COVID, where we really got used to the idea of being online first. And so most people are going online first, even if they do eventually go and pick up something in person. I don't know about y'all, but over the holiday season, I saw this with my family. Even my little sister is 15 years old. She's how long have I been in Cleveland? Almost exactly how long she's been on the planet. But she is a really good example. She would go and look something up online at a store, at a shop. And then when she and I got together to do all of her shopping, she was like, okay, I need you to take me to these 4 stores. I've looked at these 6 products online, and I want to go pick these things up in person. And that's a 15-year-old. She's almost 16. So don't sleep on the kids. They are also also using the real world. They're using the internet first, just like you would expect for them to, and then shopping in the real world. So there's lots of opportunity out there for all of us. And yes, because she has me as an older sister, she definitely bought a lot of products from small businesses because we don't play around in our household. We are small business shoppers. So what does that retail experience look like? A lot of people are looking to the internet to do a few things. They want to confirm inventory. Now, this played out in my real life because my older sister came to visit us from St. Louis. That's where, like I said, that's where I'm from. And oddly enough, y'all are not going to believe this. It's true. It's unbelievable, though. She packed up her car and her dog and drove all the way to Cleveland, got to our house because she stays with us when she's here. She got to our house and realized that she forgot her personal suitcase that had her like clothes in it. So she brought the gifts and her shoes and her toiletries and a bunch of other things, but she forgot her actual suitcase. And so one of the biggest things that she ended up shopping for, that she was constantly looking for inventory for, was the charger for her brand new Google Watch. No, I'm not making that up. She does have a Google Watch. We are a Google family. So we all have Google phones and Google Watches, or I have a Garmin. But yes, so she was looking for a charger for her watch. And we actually did try to use the internet to confirm inventory. That's a huge thing that people are doing. And so what you want to make sure you're doing is, if you have the ability to do that for people, which I'm going to show you a tool that can let you do that even when you're a small business, you want to make sure that you're confirming inventory. And then if you have a product that is not a like it's a school or a class or something, like your translation coach or remote life coach, if you're doing something along those lines, you want to make sure that you are letting people know what availability looks like and things like that. And there's all sorts of ways to manage that. So let's talk about where products can show up online. This here is a very good snapshot of how it works today in the US. I think everyone in this workshop is from the US. We got people from Michigan and Cleveland and all those places, but mostly I haven't seen anyone say like Buenos Aires. We've had people from Israel and all over the places. But if you are here in the United States, this is what the landscape looks like. You have your Google business profile, the Google shopping tab, the shopping ads, Google Lens, Google Images, and Google Search. These are all of the places where your product can show up online. And out of all of these places, all but one of them is completely free, meaning 100%, you don't pay an extra dime, nothing at all, zero cost, completely free. And yes, a lot of these you can put your products and your services. So even if you have a service-based business, like you're an author, like Sarah, then you can absolutely get your products available on Google as well. You don't have to have it be a physical product that you're selling, okay? So let's talk first about your Google business profile. I want you to, in the chat, if you currently have a Google business profile, I want you to put a +1 in the chat. If you don't have a Google business profile, put a 2, the number 2 in the chat. So number 1, if you have the profile, number 2, if you don't. So I'm just going to keep looking. We got a lot of 2s coming up. We got some 1s, mostly 2s. So it looks like we got a lot of 2s. Okay, so since a lot of you don't, then we're going to talk a little bit about how to get started with your Google profile, because it's actually really easy. And once you do get started, yes, that's a lot of 2s. Y'all can see this chat. There's a lot of 2s. And so we're going to talk about why, how, and why. I'm a big fan of show and tell. So part of the reason why I ever even open things up in a browser is so that I can actually show you and not just tell you. So I'm going to look up Predictable Results Marketing, which is the name of the business that I used to run. Y'all, I am transitioning away from this business into another brand. I'm very excited about it, but it's not going to happen until about the beginning of February. Right now, though, what you see is my Google business profile. So this is me. This is a little star that says I manage this profile. This is my profile information. And with your Google business profile, you have the ability to make all sorts of updates, add information, edit within your profile. This profile is basically how Google serves you up to people in the community who have a question about what you sell. And when I say people in the community who have a question about what you sell, it's really based on 2 things. First, mobile search. The majority of people who are searching on a mobile device. So more than 50% of searches are happening on mobile. and that when someone is searching on mobile, Google uses location data as a part of the way to answer their question. And so if their question is something related to location and whatever it is you sell, your Google profile is going to spark interest. It's going to show up potentially for those people. Now, how do you get started with your Google profile? If you do not have a Google profile at all, I'm going to put this in the chat. And if you could share this with everyone, Anita, I'm putting a link in the chat and Anita's going to share it to you guys. This is the link to the website that I'm on right now. Right now, you'll see where it says manage now. That's because I'm signed in. And so because I'm signed in, it automatically knows I have a profile already. But if you don't have a profile, when you go to the Google Business Profile page, it might say manage now. And then what it's going to ask you to do is see if it can find your business. It's going to have you type in the name of your business. Now, for your Google Business Profile, there are a few things you need to understand. First things first, I'm going to use Salisa as an example. So let's pretend that Salisa, who has the business where she is working with different communities, I'm going to get back to it. Yes. So she's working with a nonprofit organization that's working with parents with autistic children. She's working as an independent consultant for parent advocates in the southern suburbs of Chicago. So that's what Salisa does. If Salisa had a consulting business, which is what it sounds like she has, and then maybe she has a nonprofit organization, which is what it sounds like she has, that has volunteers and things like that, she might think, well, what do I need a Google profile for? Well, that's because a lot of people in South Side of Chicago are looking, the southern suburbs are looking for support with their autistic child, right? So if they're looking for that, if they're Googling that, then she can get found if people are making that specific search. So even if they don't know the name of her business, they can still find her. And if you are a business where the name of yourself is the name of your business, you can use whatever the name is for your Google Business Profile. So if it is Salisa and she is, a consultant, so it's Salisa Humphreys Consulting is the name of the business, then she can put that on her Google Business Profile. Now let's pretend that Salisa is like me. I have a business name with the state of Ohio, but the business name that I have with the state of Ohio is not the business name that I do business under for like everyday life. I actually do have two different business names. I don't use the name from the state of Ohio as my business name on my Google profile. The beautiful thing about your Google profile is that you want to use the name on this profile that is associated with your business. You do not want to use the formal business name that's registered with the state. Google doesn't care about that. What they really care about is what is someone actually searching for, and then how can we make sure that if Salisa is the answer, that Salisa gets found. That's what Google cares about. So you want to make sure that you're using the right name. Some of you are probably tried to do a Google profile in the past and got hung up on a variety of things like verification and things like that. I will tell you, very, very fortunately, at the end of last year, they transformed how that program worked. So now you have multiple methods of verification available to you starting in Q4 of last year, multiple methods of verification, and to reset verification, it actually happens very quickly. So if you're at a point where you're trying to reset your verification because you asked for a postcard and you didn't get it, you can go in and ask for a text message or a phone call, and it might happen almost immediately. It's very nice. So it's a much better system. And when you get it started, all it's going to do is ask for the name of your business. And again, that is the name that you call your business, that's the name that would be on the front of the building if you hung a shingle, but not the name that's necessarily registered with your state. That's not how it works. And if you are using the term LLC behind it, because again, a lot of us got scared by the state that says, you better use that term LLC behind your name every single time. You don't have to do that with your Google Business Profile. Matter of fact, it might make it longer to verify. So Inc. and LLC and all that stuff, unless that is a part of your business name, like people always say that Inc. with your business name, you can leave that off of your Google Business Profile. It's not necessary. Now, why do you want a Google Business Profile? Because with your Google Business Profile, you can add products. You can add products and services. So instead of just having a product that you can sell, you can also offer services. And that is what makes it very useful for every type of business. So I have Sandy here asking, what if you have more than one business? Well, this is the other reason why I have a manage button on my Google Business profile, because I manage multiple businesses. I am a marketer for a living, so I manage multiple business profiles for myself and for clients. And so, yes, you can have multiple business profiles, and there is no foul at all. Google does not care. So you can just set that up, and you would want to make sure that you use my one big secret tip for life. Make sure you're using the same email address that you're going to use for all of your Google products. Use that same email address to start your Google profile, because what you don't want is to be emailing me and saying, but Lindsay, Google stole my profile. And really the reality is that you're like me and you have like 6 email addresses under Google. You want to make sure you're using the one that you want to use. And no, it does not have to be a formal @business name email address. It can be @gmail.com. It does not matter. It just needs to be the same one that you're using for everything, so that all of those accounts are connected, and so that you never, ever, ever lose access to your account because you don't have that email address anymore. Because that's really the only obstacle, is having an email address that you, like if you're using, you work at a university and they use Google for their main, for their email, and you have a Google email address with the university, don't use that email address to start your Google Business Profile account. Not because you're using the resources of that college, even though you are, and that's probably inappropriate, but mostly because if you quit tomorrow, they are going to deactivate that email address instantly. And as soon as that email address is deactivated, you will lose access to that. You will lose access to everything associated with it. So don't use someone else's, like people always say, don't build a house on somebody else's land. This is that sort of thing. Don't use something that, like someone else's email address, some other business's email address when you're signing up for your Google Business profile. All you need is a basic Gmail account. You do not have to do anything fancy. Again, like I said, you don't have to have workspace or any of that. Once you're ready, in order to add products, it is actually really easy. You can click on the products and add, and then as soon as you click on products and add, it'll let you essentially set up the image, the price, where you want that product to go. So there are several of you, like I said, you have like Ashley here, who is a life coach. I'm going to use my own business as an example, where if you have a business where you don't have quote unquote products, when you are with your Google Business profile, if Ashley has life coaching, like if she has life coaching packages where maybe you can do a 6-month package or a 12-month package or a 3-month package or a package with 6 sessions or 12 sessions, something along those lines, she can add those packages here. So it doesn't even have to be, like I said, it doesn't have to be a physical product. It can be a service offering that is separate from a product, that is not a single product, it's a service offering. And what you get to do with your Google Business profile, if I'm Ashley and I offer life coaching, and let's say I have a Squarespace page that has my 6-session package and it's linked on my website, I can then go over to my website's landing page with that link to buy that 6-session package and drop that link in here. And then inside of my Google Business profile, now someone could literally order 6 sessions of life coaching straight from the internet without having to pass go or collect $200. I mean, hopefully you're collecting that $200. So that's the beautiful thing about it, is that you can basically set the entire thing up, and this is free. Like I told y'all, I was going to tell y'all about a whole bunch of free stuff. This is free. This costs you absolutely no money. And as you saw, I literally just clicked on the button right here that said, add a product, add. That's it. There's nothing fancy about it. Once you have the profile created, all you have to do is go in here and add your products. It is so incredibly simple. So there's that one thing, which is a Google Business profile. So if you don't have one, make that your watchword for the day. You are going to go and get yourself a Google Business profile. I'm going to give you one more secret, because a lot of you are like, but Lindsay, I work from home and I don't want to put my address, my physical address, in as my Google profile address. With Google Business profiles nowadays, you don't have to do that. You can actually have a service area. So I'm going to show you with my Google Business profile, I have a service area. Let me go in the right direction so you can see it. So my service area is all of Cuyahoga County and Lorain County, and you can see it's a really big area here. And when you look, let me see manage profile so that you can actually see it. This is my profile right there. You can see my service areas right there. Area served: Cleveland, Lorain County, and Cuyahoga County. So if you're creating your profile right now and you are in, again, Chicago, you don't have to say, I service all of Chicago. You can, that's fine, but you can also be very specific and you can say, I service these 6 neighborhoods, or I service these 2 counties. When you get the opportunity to go in here, all you have to do is start typing in words, and it will give you the ability to select either a city or a county or a geographic circle that you serve. So don't feel like you're restricted. You have lots of options there. You do not have to put, not just do not have to, you should not put your house address inside of your Google Business profile unless you want people showing up to your house to ask for random services at various points in the day. So don't do that unless that's what you actually mean. Now, in addition to that, oh yes, okay, y'all got questions. I'm going to answer those questions in a second. In addition to your Google Business profile, you also have the ability to add your products to the Google Merchant Center. Now, this is also free. So I'm gonna tell you when we get to the paid thing. So assume everything is free unless I tell you you have to spend money. So with the Google Merchant Center, it is also free, and it's a teensy tiny bit more complicated. So we started out with the easiest thing possible, which is your Google Business profile. You start one and then you put your products in. It's that simple. Now, to answer the questions, can you put within a 1 hour? You can't put a time, but you can put a distance. So if you want to put a pin in, let's say, your physical address, like you're not going to put your address in there, but you're going to say within 60 miles of this location. And then that's generally speaking about an hour, unless you live in Chicago, in which case it's going to be about 25 miles. So, y'all, like I said, I'm from St. Louis, so I've always tell people I've been to Chicago more times than any normal person because I'm from a city where like, it's Thursday, let's go to Chicago. That's what we did when I was younger. And so, yes, I've been to Chicago a ton of times, and I know an hour ain't gonna buy you that many miles in Chicago, but an hour in Indianapolis will buy you a whole 60 miles. An hour here will buy you like 75 miles. You can get to and from Akron in an hour practically. So like people drive fast here, and there's lots of really big highways. So that just depends on where you are. So you can put a pin and put a distance, but you can't put time. And what if you sell internationally? Okay, so this is the thing. I didn't say this, and thank you, Christina, for asking this question. If you are setting up your Google Business profile, remember the reason why we're doing it. You're not doing this Google Business profile so that everyone in the entire world can learn about you. No, 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 no. You're creating this Google Business profile for people who are looking for an answer to their problem right now. Right now. That's what you're doing. The Google Business profile serves people who are searching in this moment. And so the best way for you to leverage your Google profile is to actually be tighter with who you serve. So I was joking about, all these people in Chicago and all these people in Indiana and all these people in Michigan. I have clients in Florida. I have clients in a lot of places. I've worked with people in Canada. I've worked with people all over. But for my Google profile, I don't put all that stuff on my Google profile, because the reality is the majority of people who go to see my profile are going to be in the main place that I get the majority of my business, which is Northeast Ohio. So yes, I do have clients all over. I have had people come to my workshops from all over, but I still only advertise those workshops within a specific distance of me. Not because I want to constrain myself, but because what I really want to do is optimize for search. If you try to put internationally, first of all, Google's not going to let you. But then second of all, it really just means that there's who are you actually going to get found by? Because people aren't like, I need to find an autism coach for my daughter, and they can be anywhere in the world. No, they're not searching like that. No one says, I want a Google cord for this thing right now. And yes, it can be anywhere in the world. They're like, no, I need it to be within 6 miles of me right now. Like, I have 6 hours to find this thing, and I'm not searching all over creation, and I don't want to order it from the internet. I want to find it in person, or I want a coach that's going to be available to me in person. So you're going to use your Google profile like that, not going to use it to try to like hit everyone and everything everywhere in the entire world. You're just trying to find the people who are closest to where you can service them immediately, even if those services are virtual. Like I said, I have a virtual business. I'm not talking about like you have to constrain yourself, but it just makes it easier for you to get found by the people who are the majority of your audience. So back to the Merchant Center. And yes, you can do all of this stuff, Jasmine, if you have an online business. Absolutely. So when you have a Merchant Center, this is where it lets your products be seen. First, in the Google search. Now, this is extremely useful for all of you product-based businesses. And I saw a whole bunch of you. Like I said, nearly 50% of the businesses here are product-based businesses. So Thad, who has a handcrafted furniture business, there's a lot of you up here who have a physical product that you're selling. If that is the case, one of the best things about your Google Merchant account is that those physical products can show up in search results. Because nowadays, when people are searching for a physical product, when someone searches that type of product, Google very fortunately doesn't just give generic answers. It gives very specific answers. So I am going to do a search real quick just to point out that fact. So I am going to type, you know what? I don't want to make a generic question. I'm going to ask for one of your products. So Thad, give me something that you sell. What kind of furniture do you make? Do you making chairs? Do you make stools? Do you make dining room tables? What you making? Thad, put it in the chat. So I want to search for a physical real world product because I want you to see how it works, because the more specific your search is, the more people are looking for you, then you'll see what I mean by like different products show up differently. Okay. So tables. So I am going to put handcrafted wood tables. And I'm going to put dining. I'm going to be very specific and put dining tables. And what do I see here? So I've got Wayfair, Dutch Crafters, Deutsch Amish. I'm in Ohio, y'all. We get Amish answers for a lot of things. Wayfair, Pottery Barn article, Cousin Home. These are all people who are using the Google Merchant Center. And immediately, I didn't do anything. Y'all saw 2 seconds ago, I was doing a regular search for a word. And then all of a sudden, the second that I put in a product, it's asking me, do you want a round table, an extendable table, a rectangular table? It gives you all of these answers. That is happening for everybody in the internet who is searching. And when you are putting your products in the Google Merchant Center, then when someone near Holland, Michigan searches for wood handcrafted tables, hopefully your business shows up. But that only happens if you have your products inside of the Google Merchant Center. The other thing is that it will show up in the shopping tab. So when we are here, we're technically not even in the shopping tab. We're just in the regular Google search area. And so now when we go into the shopping tab, we get Sophia's Rustic Furniture, Lumber to Love, Etsy, Northfield Stores. We get a lot more answers. We even get a great pick answer, something that is highly rated. This is 22 reviews. This is Google telling me this is available on the next day. Cedarwood Furniture has this one on sale. Like, this is the shopping tab is game. It is golden. And how does someone get their products in there? It's a listing, and it's completely free if you use the Google Merchant Center. Easy, completely free. Now, like I said, I'm going to make sure that you guys know what's the difference between the free stuff and the not free stuff, because right here inside of this platform, you will also see stuff that isn't free. So these are free, but these are not. So this little area, this first little area right here, this is the part that's paid. And I will show you how that works. But the rest of it is free. Okay, thank you, Thad. I'm glad you're excited because this is great. Like, this is something that anybody can do for free. I'm going to show you how it works in a second. And then also on images. So if you have your products in the Google Merchant Center, then when someone searches and they want to look at images, if your product has an image and is available for sale using the Google Merchant Center, your products will show up in the image search too. So if someone is just looking for handcrafted tables, dining room tables for inspiration here, air quotes if you can't see me, if I'm looking for that, then if I go to the images tab, anything that is in the Google Merchant Center is going to show up as a product. So we see right here, it says it's in stock, and this is just in the images. So you know how people search a variety of different ways. Some people are searching in the image search. Some people are searching for the shopping search. Some people are just in the basic Google search tab. When you use the Google Merchant Center, everything shows up exactly like it shows up in all three of these places simultaneously. $0 costs you nothing, and you put the product in there once. It's amazing. So please, please, please don't sleep on this. So how does it work? So your Google, I'm going to copy and paste it into the chat again. So Anita, if you can put that in for everybody. It's the long one because I couldn't, the merchant account. Y'all, I also manage merchant accounts for people. No, I will not do any of this stuff for you. I don't do client work anymore, but I do have clients that I still manage their merchant accounts for. I don't take on new clients. And so when I type in merchantcenter.google.com, it goes straight to my merchant center. So I can't, I can't type that in. This is how you get to the home page. This is amazing. You just hit start now. And when you start again, if I click on this, it'll take you to, it'll take you to my account, which will show you clients. But once you do this, it'll get you showing up on search, map, shopping. The YouTube thing is not free. Images, so like I told you, I'm like, I'll show you what the difference between the free stuff and the not free stuff. You can show up on YouTube as a product. Absolutely. But it does have a cost associated with it. There's certain things that are not free. Mind you, all this stuff is cheap, but it's still not free. I don't want you to get into the idea thinking that it's going to be free. And then the other place, and something that the kids are using, I don't know about y'all. I mean, I use it too. I'm not a kid, but I've gotten very good at using Google Lens. I will show you using my my actual phone. If you can see, oh wait, I have to get really close to my face. There is a little camera looking thing in the search bar. That little camera looking thing in the search bar is on everybody's search bar, and it's called Google Lens. If you're using Google search on your phone, you can actually type Google, like you can touch the Google Lens and point your camera at anything, and Google will tell you what it is. This is becoming a very widely used type of search. People are loving it. And so if you have a product that maybe is very interesting. I mean, I'll use that as an example. Like that is making custom wood furniture. If he's making custom chairs and someone is at someone else's house, like they get invited over for a dinner party and they look at these chairs and they're like, oh my God, this chair is beautiful. And they look and quote unquote scan the chair. Nowadays, all you literally have to do is point your camera at it using Google Lens and it will tell people that that's Thad's chair. Y'all, it's amazing. And so the only way that it works though is if you're using the Google Merchant Center. Again, free. You just have to be using it so that when you take pictures of your products, it looks like the thing that someone is taking a scan of, and that will help you show up whenever they do that in the real world. It's crazy. The internet and the real world have merged into an amazing space together where people are now scanning, shoes and handbags, and I've done it. And don't even get me started. I also scan things in nature on a regular basis. I'm like, what kind of insect is that? But either way, nowadays you can use Google Lens. You do not need a special app for it. It's just attached to your already happening Google search. It's amazing. Now, I told you I was going to show you when something costs money. Shopping ads is the thing that costs money. And the only way to do shopping ads, it's not technically true. There are two ways to do shopping ads, but the easiest way to do shopping ads is through your Google Merchant Center. So once you get your products into your Google Merchant Center, getting shopping ads going is a click of a button. Matter of fact, it's so easy that a lot of people honestly don't even know that they're doing it because it's easy and it's cheap. So like there'll be people who call me and they're like, Lizzie, I have this $60 is coming out of my bank account every month to Google and I don't know what it's for. And I'm like, oh God. And so we go through and we look, and sometimes it's actually a shopping ad that they're running and they don't realize that they're running it. And I'm like, you didn't notice the uptick in product sales? They are just not associating the two things. So there's definitely a price associated with your shopping ad. But like I said, if you want to show up in the top bar here that says shop handcrafted dining tables, if you want to show up here, then you can using the shopping ads, and you can do that very easily inside of the Google Merchant Center. If you're unknown, will it reveal someone else's product as yours? Probably not, actually. What it does, just so that you guys know if you haven't used it, first of all, start using it so that you can see how it works, especially if you plan on using this for your own products. How it works is that it tells you what it thinks you're seeing. So if there is a very good, so if that picture of Thad's chair is actually the way from the same angle or the same fabric color that Thad has in his Google Merchant Center, it'll pull up Thad's chair and be like, that's it, that's the chair, period. And you'll be able to see side by side that it is exactly what it says it is. But it will also give you variation. So it's not just going to give you one answer, just like Google never gives you one answer. You saw me type in handcrafted tables and there's like 4,000 tables on this page. And so it's also going to give you like 16 other options that aren't Thad. And so, yes, it will give you a very, very close approximation, and it's going to give you a bunch of other options. No, that doesn't mean that like you have to be well known in order to win. I'm going to say win, Darren. You do not have to be well known to win your search. You just have to be a better photographer. And when I say a better photographer, I mean use different angles. If you are creating a product, so let me go back to my Google profile here. When you are creating a product, you can add a photo. In your Google business, your Google Merchant Center, you can add multiple photos, and that's what you want to do. So just like you have here in this search, there's sometimes one photo, but a lot of these have multiple photos associated with them. You want to have as many photos as you can associated with your products, reasonably speaking here, because the more angles and things like that, the better. That's the beautiful thing about this. This is not a competition. It is Google trying to provide the best answer and the closest one to what the person is actually looking at, okay? Now, with your Google Merchant Center, it's very simple. You create an account. Again, remember, only use the one email address you're using for your Google business profile and your YouTube channel and all that. Use the same email address. It doesn't matter which one it is, but use the same one, because once you have your Merchant Center connected, there's a bunch of other things that you can connect with it. So make sure you're using the same email address. Create that account. You can upload products, and then they show up on Google. It's really, really simple. You can go to g.co/merchant, but Anita already put a link to it in the chat. Would I recommend placing a link to execute the sale in the Merchant Center or on the business profile? Both. So Darren is asking, where should you put your products? The answer is everywhere. Where? Everywhere. Everywhere. And the Google profile is the easiest one. You can do that today. Your Google Merchant Center might take a little bit longer. And I'll show you why. That's the reason why it's not first. I didn't mention it first for a reason. When you first get started with your Google business profile or your Google Merchant Center, sorry about that, it is going to ask you for your name, your country, and all that stuff. If you have a business profile, very thankfully, and you are using the same email address, like I already said, then it will likely find you immediately. It'll know it's you. That's great. Now it's going to ask you for where you want people to check out. The answer is probably on your own website, right? So if you have a website, you can actually have people check out at your website. If you own a brick and mortar store, you can have people come in and check out at your store. And you have the option to actually use Google to process your payment. So if you don't have a method for people to pay right now, you can actually use Google to have your payment set up through Google. It's very nice. And then if you have some other tool that you're using like Shopify or PayPal, and I will scroll down because there's a bunch of other options now. It has, did I skip past them already? There are like a bunch of options. It's not just, maybe how it works. It's not just your Shopify anymore. It used to be that it was very difficult. And now it's Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Link, PrestaShop. I think Wix might be a part of the program now. There's a lot of other e-commerce stores that are used now, so it's not just Shopify. What it'll ask you is if you're using another tool. And the reason why it's asking you, I'm going to get to that in a second. You're going to create your account. It doesn't matter whether you're using Wix or WordPress or Shopify. This is still easy. Even if you're using something that isn't quote unquote compatible with Google Merchant Center, it might just take you a little bit longer to do. Before you get started, you can verify your account, because what Google does not want, let's talk to Darren's question real quick. What Google does not want is for someone to defraud someone else. So Google doesn't want someone to be able to pretend to be you because they have good pictures of your products and they set up a shop and use Google for payment and then never fulfill those products because it wasn't a real shop. Don't do that. So don't nobody get no ideas. I was just telling you what fraudsters do. Don't do that. And then the reason why it's not really even possible is because before Google will let you do any of this, they want to verify your business, which is the reason to start with your Google business profile. Start with the other things because it'll help you verify your business. You can also use Google Analytics to verify your business. You can use a file and your HTML on your website. There's a bunch of ways you can verify your business, but Google basically doesn't want to allow people to use this feature if they are an unverified business, because they want to make sure they're not letting people scam, spam, and fraud, right? None of that. Now, if you sell, yes, okay, Jorge, we're going to talk about that in a second. Y'all getting ahead of me. So adding your products is very simple. You can add them one at a time. You can add a whole bunch using a spreadsheet, or you can use a link. Adding individual products is very easy. You just type in the product. Now you'll see here down at the bottom, it says, do you have an identifier? So you might be thinking, oh, I don't use ISBNs or USBs or UPCs or EINs. I'll use none of that for my stuff. I sell tables, Lindsay. Like they're $1,600 tables. I just ring it up. Right. And so you don't have like a scan code for your table. That's fine. You don't need it. So I saw several of you who make handmade products. That's fine. That's great. You can still put your product on Google, which is awesome. All you do is say, I don't have an identifier. So right here where it says product identifier, it's going to ask you if you got a code. If you don't have a code, say no. It's that simple. I don't want anyone to feel like this is something you can't do if you don't have a fancy business. You can have a very unfancy business and still do this. If you want to do multiple products, like I said, they have a spreadsheet option where you can actually download a Google Sheet template, put all your products in the template, and then upload the template back up. And when you finish setup, it's just going to say upload, create feed, and then all of your products will be in all the places we just talked about. It's really simple, very simple. This is what the spreadsheet looks like. Like I said, if you don't have a UPC code and all that stuff, you can just ignore a lot of that. It's pretty simple. If you want your products to appear all the places we talked about, doing the Google profile, your Google Merchant Center are the two top ways to do it. And if you have Shopify like Jorge, then this gets really easy because there's a connection between the two. So it's kind of a one click setup almost. It's not really one click, it's more than one click, but it's very quick. So first of all, let me give you a quick overview of Shopify. No, this is not a sales pitch. Shopify is a very lovely tool. It is not free. And what I always encourage people to do is try to do the free stuff first. Don't worry about doing the paid stuff. It's not that serious. But what Shopify really is doing is making e-commerce easy for everybody. They have literally now millions of clients. They have millions of websites, hundreds of countries, billions of dollars in sales. They have made it so much easier for people to have businesses. If you have a Shopify site, I know you know what I'm talking about. I've had one. I've managed them for other people. They really are easy. They're quite lovely. And all you need is the email address to get started. Yes, I would encourage you to use the same email address that you're going to use for your Google, like for all your Google stuff, your Google business profile, your Google Merchant Center. Why? I'll tell you in a second. So once you get started with Shopify, you're going to put all your products in. And then once your products are in, you're going to connect your account to Google. This is where things get really interesting. Why I'm a huge advocate of Shopify is because what Shopify does is that it allows you to use multiple sales channels. So you see those grayed out areas where there's like nothing there and you just see Google. Those are all other options for ways to sell your products because Shopify has a bunch of them. It's kind of fantastic. So you have all these different ways that Google can, that you can sell your product, and Google is one of them. And you can click on the Google sales channel and it will show you this exact thing, and it'll say add sales channel. The challenge here is that if you're going to add your Google Merchant Center account and you haven't already created it, this is where things get hairy. So I'm surprised that no one has said yet, but Lindsay, I tried to do this and it didn't work. And that's because a lot of times people will go in and then essentially have the Shopify account create a Google Merchant Center account for them. You do not want to do that. You want to do it the way I said. Create your own Merchant Center account first, because then you can connect your Merchant Center account to Shopify. Otherwise, Shopify is going to create an account for you, and then it's going to be empty and it's not great. So don't do that. Create your own account and then connect it to Shopify using your Google, your email address, your Gmail address, whichever one you're going to use. And like it says, it has sample email there. It don't matter what the email address is, just make sure it's one that is the same one you're using for your Merchant Center. You're going to connect it, you're going to confirm your store, and then it is automatically going to sync. Automatically. This is the part that's amazing. So if you see down here in stock, that is because this Vanderberg, literally, Barkman Furniture is using a Google Merchant Center account that is connected to live inventory. And your Shopify account is what makes it possible for you to have live inventory. It's amazing. But because Google is smart, there's another way to have live inventory I'm going to show you in a second. So like I said, you're going to connect that Merchant Center, you're going to have your product feed, and you're basically not going to have to do anything. If you want to do advertising, I'm going to blow past this. You can do shopping ads. Great. It's easy, but you do not have to. All of this is then set up for you to show up in all the 16 places I've shown you that you can show up today. All of that works that way. Now I'm going to show you one more tool if you were interested in getting your products live inventory updates, meaning I have 6 in stock, I have 2 more smalls, whatever that is. If you have a brick and mortar store, you don't have a fancy, air quotes here, you don't have a fancy store, you've got a store that's maybe small, maybe you have you're in a co-space where you're in with a bunch of other businesses and you all ring up separately. There's a bunch of reasons why you might consider yourself small. And one of the products that Google has is a product called Pointy. And so Be Found Locally, which is a product called Pointy from Google. It is very simple. It's a little scanner. And yes, you can use a QR code that you made up, essentially. So you scan your product, or you scan, like if you ever seen someone who use a book of scans for something that's a much bigger product that you're not going to put stickers on, like a table. You scan your product and you associate a number of inventory with it. So if you sell these very specific model of tables, you can say, I made 3 of them this year. There's 3 in inventory, and you can scan them. And then when one of them sells, you can take it out of the inventory. This is a way for people who have smaller businesses to actually leverage those counters where someone gets to see that something's in stock. Y'all, I'm trying to give you as many tools as I can. Pointy used to be free. I don't know if it's still free, but it is actually a great tool. Still available. You can just Google Pointy, Pointy from Google. And when I first started promoting Pointy a while ago, it was still free. I'll give you guys the link for you to see what Pointy is and how it works. But it's, like I said, it's great for smaller businesses that have small inventories, like you sell handcrafted juices or something like that, where you still have inventory in a freezer, but it's not like grocery store inventory. You don't have 65 of those, ginger blueberry drinks. You have 4. So it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to get that information out that as well. Now, Nexus, Tax Collection, and Shopify. No, Sarah, I cannot talk about that. Mostly because I'll tell you this, one of the things that I'm not purporting to do here is promote Shopify at all. It is a great product. You use it, don't use it, it's up to you. As far as taxes are concerned, with tax collection for product-based businesses, there are how many states on this workshop right now? Like 6. I am by no means a tax professional, but I will tell you what I do know. I do not know anything about the sales tax in the 6 different states that we have presented here, let alone federal taxes associated or local taxes associated with sales. So what I would encourage all of you to do is refer back to a tax professional to make sure that you are setting all of your accounts appropriately, because Sarah is right. I don't want none of y'all getting dinged on none of this stuff because you're not taking out the appropriate taxes. I'm just showing you how to get the products out there so that more people see them, right? This little quote here is a great way for us to kind of start wrapping things up. You do not have to be good to start. You just have to start to be good. All of these things are ways for you to get started. Your Google business profile, which will take you 10 minutes to set up, and you'll be able to put your products in it tonight. That's amazing. Do that first. Your Google Merchant Center is going to take a little bit longer. It's more involved, but once you do it, look at all the places you can get found. So don't put it off forever. Make it something that you do by the end of March. Make it something you do by the end of April. Don't try to make it something you do by the end of next week, because it might not be reasonable for you to get it done that fast. Now, here are some additional resources that I want you to know about. One of them is a site called Grow My Store. If you have a store that you have available, thank you, Latoya. I thought that was a pretty good way to answer that question too. If you have a store and you are looking for a really good way to like evaluate how your store is being presented to the world, your e-commerce store, this website is a really great way for you to see how your store is kind of ranking. And like I said, it's called Grow My Store. It's from Think with Google. Google has 85 different tools for helping us as small business owners, and this is one of the really good ones. In addition to that, there is the Grow with Google regular page, which is this grow.google, or you can go to the YouTube channel associated with it, because that has me and a bunch of other people giving workshops like this. And Score, y'all, Score is amazing. On the Score YouTube channel, they also have all of this stuff. And for the people who are asking, Shamika, there is a on the Score YouTube channel right now. This workshop is actually live right now on the Cleveland Score YouTube channel. So you can go back and watch this immediately if you want to. Okay, it's kind of nice. I have about 3 minutes. This is a QR code if you want to scan it and let Google know what you thought about this workshop. That would be great. When it asks you where this was, say Cleveland, even though clearly we're not all in Cleveland, but that would be lovely. Google would love you forever if you did that. I don't see the feedback, so if you want to say mean things about me, you can. Okay, so let me answer your question. So what was the link for the Grow Store? Anita, I'm going to drop that in again. Let's see if we can get that pasted to everyone. With Google Tools, how can you customize survey questions? Oh, that is a really good question. So Darren is asking about like asking questions and things like that. If you have questions that you want to ask of your audience. Now, the real answer is Google actually used to have a really good survey tool. I don't know if anybody remembers, it was like called Google Surveys. I loved them. They were really good for customer feedback. So you could get, like, you could create a tiny little Google survey. And it was a paid tool, so it wasn't free, but you could tell it what population of people you wanted to survey, and it would survey that population of people. It was amazing. Oh my God, I loved it. But they don't do that no more. So, so the next best bet is for you to use a tool like I personally use. Of course, the name of it is gonna fall out of my head. ConvertKit. I use ConvertKit because I like the way that tool works very seamlessly with your website and with your email, like email marketing. So you can create a little survey in ConvertKit and then actually put that on your website. So there's things like that you can do. You can do that with MailChimp or a variety of other tools as well. Unfortunately, there's not a Google tool anymore that's associated directly with that kind of survey. It's a great question. It doesn't exist anymore though. Wish it did. I love that, Sarah. I'm so glad that you guys' heads are exploding. What I want you to do in the last minute before you leave is tell me in the chat what you're going to do next. I want to know what you got out of this workshop and what is your next step. That's your price of admissions tonight, is tell me how you're going to use the stuff that I just taught you. So in the chat, fire away. How are you going to use it? Yes, it is easy. I want you guys to do this stuff. It's easy. Oh, Mason, I got SEO workshops. Keep looking at the SCORE website. You'll find another workshop for me where we talk about SEO, because search engine optimization is the game. It is the game. Oh, Delight. Yes, you better get on that company to get you some answers. You need to know why your products aren't up there. That is very true. Okay, setting up that Google profile. Yes, there were a ton of twos in this workshop. I want you guys to become number one. You're number one. You're going to have that Google profile the next time I ask. You're going to get that Google profile. And yes, if you have courses, you can put your courses in your merchant center. There's all sorts of fun things you can do. So if you got something like a CDL school and things like that, that you have like training programs, go ahead and get yourself up there. Please do. Okay. So Lisa, see y'all are fantastic. You're going to be getting out here and doing stuff. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay. That's it. It's 8. I want to make sure I give you guys your evenings back.
Okay, well, this has been a wonderful session. And you all will be getting a survey from SCORE tomorrow or the next day. So if you liked what you heard, send us positive comments and we'll make sure that Lindsay is back again with another astounding webinar. So we look forward to seeing you there. So I think we're done for today. And Lindsay, thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us. We've enjoyed having you and hope you'll be with us for the next one.
Awesome. Thank